Hello everyone, the Green Scorpion here, and welcome to episode 3 of the Green Scorpion's Q&A. As usual, if you want to ask me any questions, click on the link in the video description and ask your questions in that video. I have 15 more questions here and I'm ready to answer them, so let's get right into it. Our first question comes from Nintendo9000. What is your favorite review from the Nostalgia Critic? Well, that's actually a good question because I really love watching that guy and there's a lot of reviews that he's done that I really enjoy. If I had to choose my favorites, some that really stand out are his top 11 animated Disney film villains, and his review on Pokemon the first movie, and Space Jam. And probably my favorite that he's done relatively recently is his review on The Grinch. All of those reviews I thought were really awesome, and basically I'm a really big fan of the Nostalgia Critic. He does some great work, and if I had to choose at least the ones that are most memorable to me, those would be the ones. So I hope that answers your question. If I had to choose one, I'd probably go with the top 11 Disney film villains. Alright, this next question comes from Evil Etc. What are your favorite Christmas movies? Oh boy, that's a good question. Well, I just mentioned The Grinch, but I wouldn't call that my favorite Christmas movie. If I had to choose my favorite Christmas movie, believe it or not, I have to go with It's a Wonderful Life. That movie was heartwarming. It was really moving in terms of the message that it spoke, and all in all, it has a certain charm to it that just makes me want to watch it over and over again. But yeah, I would go with that one personally because I think it's a really great movie. Alright, this next one comes from a few people. Mega WTF Gamer, again, he asked a lot of questions actually. Fuchu, Master Dementio 1, and Megacast 5005. He's another one. What is your favorite Pokemon? Okay, this is actually a strange one because while my favorite Pokemon type is Ghost, my favorite Pokemon of all time is actually Poliwrath, believe it or not. I don't know why, but I've always been a fan of water types as well. I guess you could consider it my second favorite Pokemon type. But Poliwrath in general is just a really cool Pokemon. He looks cool, his move pool and stats are pretty good, and he's one of the few Pokemon in the Pokemon universe who's actually a dual water and fighting, which I think is really awesome. Like, I know there's a whole bunch of other awesome Pokemon out there, but if I had to choose my favorite, it would be Poliwrath. Alright, so this next one comes from Dragon Russell. What's the easiest boss you have ever played? That's actually a really good question. If you go back to the Fiery Joker's top 10 easiest bosses, I think it was, then it would probably be Sephiroth because you can beat him with a counterattack, but I don't know, I guess I wouldn't count that. If you want legit easiest boss, I would go with Chloe Walsh from No More Heroes 2. That boss was just pathetically easy, especially considering that the build-up they gave to her. Honestly, that boss was one of the more disappointing ones to me, and it was mainly because of the difficulty. It was way too easy. Alright, this next question comes from... Oh goodness, forgive me if I say this wrong. A Tormalina Gamer and KJ Hallock. Wow, those are weird names. What is your favorite cartoon? That is a tough question, personally, but if I had to choose my favorite cartoon, it's probably Batman the Animated Series. I am a huge fan of that series. Honestly, I would say it's the best series of Batman, even better than the old 1980s Frank West series. I honestly am a huge fan of Batman Animated Series. The writing's great, the animation's great, the atmosphere of that show is just tremendous. Like, honestly, that show is just so perfect. I mean, obviously it's not perfect, but it comes pretty darn close. Alright, so this next question comes from Sir Cheesecake 1. Do you like tacos? I love tacos. Come on, dude, that's a given on my part. I'm a Hispanic for Pete's sake. Of course I love tacos, especially my mom's. They're really awesome. Okay, moving on. Emblem F48 asks, why are you so awesome? Because you guys tell me I am. Thank you so much. Okay, moving on then. Okay, this next question comes from a bunch of people again. from Dragon Russell, once again, Proteus 007, Oblivion 272, the Otaku Gamer 1, and If Sam Was Chinese. What's your favorite anime? There are a bunch of animes I actually like. Full Metal Alchemist, Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, Elfen Lied, and Afro Samurai. Those are a bunch of animes that I like, but if I had to choose my favorite, it would definitely be Hellsing. That anime is just so cool. The story was a bit convoluted, but it was actually really cool once you were able to follow it. The characters are fleshed out well, especially Alucard. And ultimately, the action in that anime was just incredible. Especially because of the fact that they found out so many ways to try and kill Alucard, but he just won't die, and it's amazing how much he can take. They really fleshed that out in that anime, so Hellsing would definitely be my favorite. Okay, so the next question comes from Gold the Pokemon Master. What would you rather have, the Master Sword, a Pokemon, or teleporting power? Teleporting power! Good lord, that would make my life so much easier. I'm a really busy guy, actually. I like doing a bunch of stuff. I'm into theater, I go to school a lot, I'm going to work all the time, things like that. If I had teleporting power, that would save me up so much time, and it would actually probably allow me to sleep in a little bit more. But yeah, teleporting power, hands down. I love this Master Sword, and a Pokemon would be really cool, but teleporting power, hands down, just because it would make my life so much easier. Alright, so the next question comes from MKokja5A. Wow, okay. You said you don't like the controls in Mortal Kombat Armageddon. What about the game itself? Do you like it, and how would you rate it? Okay, yeah, I remember I complained about it back in my top 10 most poorly controlled games list. Mortal Kombat Armageddon, for the Wii, I would not recommend because of the motion control settings. It's just not really good. Like I said, if you're going to do motion controls, then they have to be done right, and the Wii has done motion controls right, but not the case with that game. However, the game as a whole, I think is okay, but I will say this much, it's probably one of the weaker entries in the Mortal Kombat roster. Especially because my biggest rep with that game, besides the controls, is they don't have unique fatalities anymore in that, they didn't have unique fatalities in that game, which honestly is half the fun of playing Mortal Kombat, so Mortal Kombat Armageddon, while it did have like the biggest roster of characters, ultimately was a huge disappointment in my opinion. Alright, this next question comes from Master T610 and Weeg082. What's your favorite book of all time? This is an interesting one because my favorite book, I don't really have a favorite book per se, rather a book series. There was a series I used to read back in the day, and I actually have a set of it in my house. The series is called Knights of the Silver Dragon. It follows these three kids who are basically a sorcerer, a thief, and a mini, or not really a mini, but an apprentice swordsman, I guess you could say. But basically, it's going through their adventures in a city that's basically, it basically takes place in a medieval-style realm. You know, goblins, magic, and things like that. I'm a huge fan of that, which is why I did like the Harry Potter books for a little while. But yeah, Knights of the Silver Dragon was really cool. It was basically fantasy, mystery, and adventure all wrapped up into one. For anyone who likes that kind of genre of books, I would recommend Knights of the Silver Dragon, even though it is an easy read. Alright, so this next question comes from NCapo20. How do you type with boxing gloves on? This next question comes from Conjon1992. If you had to be stuck on a deserted island with one video game character with no hope of escape, who would it be? Okay, I assume that you mean that even if I chose someone like a character who flies or something like that, but I wouldn't be able to escape or something like that. If I had to be stranded on a deserted island and I could only have one video game character with me, I would probably go with Big Boss, because he already has done the whole survival thing, and yeah, he would definitely be a huge help in survival, and we probably could live comfortably on a deserted island once we get a system going and we pretty much know what we're doing. So yeah, definitely, I would choose Big Boss for that one. Alright, this next question comes from Legend3454. What programs and what process do you use to make your countdowns? Sure, I'll answer this one. Basically, first I basically write my script, which is basically the process of coming up with a list. What am I going to talk about? I bring up a whole bunch of candidates as in options for the list, and I rank which ones would be the top 10 based on research and basically what my own opinion, obviously, because you know I'm not going to be what I say is not going to be the definitive answer for that kind of thing. I basically, once I make the list, I start writing the script. I send it to Nameless Nick, who I said is my editor, and he makes any edits, makes suggestions, and cuts out things that he thinks is unnecessary. He basically is my script editor. And once he gets it back to me, then I start collecting footage for my video. I search through my library of already collected footage, and if I don't have something specific, I go ahead and try to find that. And from there, I basically put it all in a folder so that I can import it into Final Cut Pro 7, which is the program that I use to edit my videos. From there, it's basically just a matter of putting things together, recording my voice. And actually, no, I don't use Final Cut Pro 7 to record my voice. I actually use GarageBand for that, which is how you guys are able to hear me now. I have GarageBand running right now. Well, not right now, as in, you know what I mean. But yeah, I basically turn the GarageBand recording into an iTunes file, basically an MP3 file, and I put that in the folder along with the footage that I need for the video, and from there I basically import it into Final Cut Pro 7, put it all together so that it's a nice list, including music, footage, and all that jazz. I export it as an H.264, and with automatic frame rate and high quality, and from there, it's onto uploading it to YouTube. That's the general gist of how I make my countdowns. So that's basically the simple explanation, really. I mean, it's a little bit more detailed than that, but honestly, if I were to explain to you guys the whole process, it would take a little while, and I don't really have that because we are down to the last question. This one comes from Timothy the Pachirisu. How long have you been playing the piano? I've been playing the piano ever since I was 7 years old. 8 years old actually. I was playing the piano since I was 8 years old, so that would make it about 13 years that I've been playing the piano, really. So yeah, it's been a long experience because I've been taking lessons for maybe 10 years. But once I started college, I had to stop taking lessons because of time constraints, so I've been basically resorting to teaching myself. I learned how to improvise on the piano, I learned how to pick up songs pretty easily by ear. So yeah, that's 13 years is how long I've been playing the piano, and I know you guys are probably wondering why I haven't been uploading piano videos at all. But that's because the camera that I had to upload them isn't working with Final Cut Pro 7 for some reason. I still gotta figure that out. As well as I had a bunch of files in my old external hard drive. Unfortunately, it got busted, so I had to get a new one, and all my files were lost. That was a total pain. But I do plan on doing those again. So once I get a good camera and I'm able to do that again, you guys will be seeing the piano videos back. Alright, so that does it for this episode of the Green Scorpions Q&A. Once again, if you guys want to ask any questions, click on the video description and ask your questions there. I'll be back next time with 15 more questions. Until then, see you guys next time.